In the previous video, we looked at rounding numbers to 1, 2, or 3 decimal places. And doing those was equivalent to rounding numbers to the nearest 10th, 100th, or 1000th, respectively. In this video, we're going to look at some very similar examples, except they might give you some surprising results if you've not seen these before. Let's start with the first example. We need to round 0.98 to 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place, that means to the nearest 10th, because the first place value column after the decimal point is the tenths column. Now what we've got here is 0 and 9/10ths and a bit, 8/100ths in this case. So this number is bigger than 9/10ths, so it's greater than 0.9, but it's less than 10/10ths or 1 whole. So the next number along that I want on my number line is 1 or 1.0. And we have to decide whether 0.98 will round to 0.9 or 1.0 to 1 decimal place. Now, as usual, I'm going to look for what's halfway in between, and that is 0.95. And hopefully you can see that 0.98 is greater than 0.95. In fact, it's going to be somewhere over here. And that means 0.98 is closer to 1 or 1.0 than 0.9. So this is our answer. Now it's really important here that you write your answer as 1.0 because we need to have 1 decimal place. So just because you normally think of 1 and 1.0 as being the same thing, it doesn't mean you can just leave out the 0.0 this time. If the question says round to 1 decimal place and it happens to round to 1.0, you need to put the 0.0 on the end. Bearing that in mind, have a go at question B for yourself. Here's what you should have got. 7.95 is between 7.9 and 8.0. What's halfway in between those? Well, it's 7.95, which is actually the number we're trying to round. Now, as we've seen in previous videos, if the number that you're trying to round is exactly halfway in between the two values you've written on your number line, then you need to round to the higher value. So we're going to round this up to 8.0. That's just a rule that mathematicians have come up with so that we are consistent. So 7.95 will round to 8.0. And again, I have to put the 0.0 on the end in this case because it's asking me to round to the nearest 10th. I need to have a digit in the tenths place value column. Let's have a look at question C next. We've now got to round 8.002 to 2 decimal places. So that is to the nearest 100th. So 8.00 and 8.01 are the two numbers that I need on my number line. I've got 8, no tenths, no hundredths, and a bit more. So 8.00 is definitely a bit less than this, and 8.01 is 1/100th greater. So going up in steps of 100th, this is what I would have on my number line. What's halfway in between those? Well, it's 8.005. And 8.002 then goes here. It's less than 8.005, which means it's closer to 8.00. And because I need 2 decimal places, I must put 8.00 down for this one. I need both of those zeros. Pause the video and have a go at question D for yourself. Here's how we go about D. 0.299 is 2 tenths, 9 hundredths, and a bit. Remember, we're trying to round to the nearest 100th. So we've got more than 2 tenths and 9 hundredths, so more than 0.29. And going up in steps of 100th, I'm going to get 0.30 next. So these are to 2 decimal places, and we just have to decide whether 0.299 is closer to 0.29 or 0.30. looking for the halfway point, we get 0.295. And that means 0.299 is to the right of it. You can see that we've got the same number of tenths, the same number of hundredths, but we've also got 9 thousandths here, which is greater than 5 thousandths. So that's why 0.299 is to the right of 0.295, and that means it's closer to 0.30. And just like in the previous question, I must have 2 decimal places. Rounding to the nearest hundredth means going into the hundredths column, which means I must have 2 decimal places. The final question is one that you must round to 3 decimal places. Pause the video and see if you can have a go at that one for yourself. Here's what you should have. Going to the thousandths column, you can see that we've got a little bit more than 7.929 because we've got this digit 5 in the next place value column. So here's 7.929, and going up in steps of 1,000th, I'm going to get 7.930. The midpoint, or the halfway point here, is 7.9295. And comparing this with this, we see that we are actually at exactly the halfway point. 7.9295 is exactly halfway between 7.929 and 7.930. So it's equally close to both, but remember, when this happens, we round up. So we're going to round this to 7.930. And notice this has got 3 digits after the decimal point, which is what we want because we were trying to round this number to 3 decimal places.